Yeah, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prison Break Raw. I'm your host, the one and only Big JD. I've never touched on this topic before, but I feel it's time that we address this one right here, because if any of yous are inside right now, or if you've gotten out or you're out, or you may be going in and you're going to be coming out, these little tips right here will spare you a whole lot of headache, a whole lot of drama, and a whole lot of wasted time. I mean, simply put, if you get yourself put into a toxic relationship, fresh out, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Now, not all relationships are toxic. Somebody getting out and going into one. It's a roll of the dice, really. I mean, if you're a man who's in your 40s, 50s, you're older, you're more mature, you're settled down, you're relaxed, maybe just got done doing a life sentence and you meet the woman who is also mature and she's got her shit together, and you guys just click, and you had a thing starting from when you were inside, and you built a life together out here. I get it. It happens more often than not. But what about everybody else? What about the guy that finds that pen pal? He's in his early 40s, or maybe in his 30s or 20s, and you find that pen pal because you're looking for something to hold on to. You're looking for an anchor to basically hold you down, or to hold them down in order to make it easier for you. That is a crapshoot in itself. I've seen that situation fail time and time again. There's also that relationship you start up at a AA meeting, at a sober living. You may have just bumped into some chick at the bar. All bad. You're fresh out. Your mind hasn't fully adjusted to what's going on around you. And already you're jumping right up into a relationship. Let me give you some tips, and let me give you some examples on why I don't approve of that. Me personally, I don't do it. I won't do it because I've seen it fail too many times. I've actually experienced it myself. And let's start out with one of my examples. 2007, fresh out of the California Department of Corrections and Rehumiliation. It was the only time that I ever really paroled with a habit. I'm going to raise my hand and say that after my dad died and it hit me a few months later, I was all bad. I was in a really bad place. I was on dope. I paroled high. I went to the parole office and pissed dirty. First piss test. I thought because I was on high control parole, they were going to send me back. But they didn't send me back. He didn't want to do the paperwork, so instead he had me go to a detox, and then he put me into a drug problem. I'm sorry, a drug program. I call them drug problems because that's all those places are, a bunch of problems most of the time. But yeah, he puts me into a drug program, right? And there I am, with all kinds of other people with drug problems, all kinds of other people on various levels of the justice system, probation, parole, you have it, they're in there. People fresh off the streets, people fresh out of detox, celebrities and the likes because it's Orange County. There's all kinds of people in this drug program. Guess what else is in that drug program? Horny young ladies. So I was 33 years old, up in there. You know what I mean? In pretty good shape. Kind of like little lightheaded from all the dope that I was doing. The first thing I'm locking in on is the first young lady that I know I'm going to lock eyes with, and we're going to go out the back. The first pass we get, we hopping off somewhere, and we're gonna handle the business. I mean, it's just the way it is. All them hormones and everything flowing through there. Everybody's just getting off of drugs, and there's nothing to do, and everybody just wants to have sex with each other. Passing notes, love letters, holding hands under the tables while we're trying to learn about our drug problems, and nobody's even focusing on any of the material whatsoever. So I met this girl in there, and I still remember her to this day. Not going to throw her name out there because I don't even know if she watches or not, but man, this was a toxic relationship. I got to tell you. Straight off from the rip. It seemed like it was cool. She seems like she was cool. She had a bomb-ass personality. You know, she was a good person in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways she wasn't. Neither was I. It was a recipe for disaster from the gate. So here we are. We're locked into this relationship. She's in a more restricted part of the program or level of the program that I'm in. I got a little bit more movement and flexibility. The first thing she did, I didn't have a car. She lets me use her car. Right, so I'm going to and from work in her car, and I'm parking it down the street so nobody sees it. And, you know, paid for the insurance, did all that. We used to go to the beach, run around the beach and have fun, finger fucking and doing all kinds of things that you're doing when you're inside of the water, or you go up into the bathroom stalls or whatnot, rolling around in the sand, having fun, then go back to the drug program and winking at each other, sneaking calls each other back and forth. But as we got more involved with each other, it started to wear on her, knowing that I was driving around, God knows where, running around town, and she was in that halfway on that program night after night. So one time she called me on my cell phone, and she's like, "Where you at?" I go, "I'm at home." She's like, "No, you're not. I just called over. They said you've been gone for hours." I was actually in Norwalk. You know what I mean? I was at my homeboy's pad, and I was high. Yeah, I was high. I'm going to lie. I had my Whizzinator and everything ready to go, so if they were going to piss test me, they're going to get the Whizzinator. And she couldn't, I couldn't lie to her because we're talking about another person from the streets, and they know when you're full of shit. You know what I'm saying? So she's just like, "Get your motherfucking ass over here and come pick me up." And I'm like, "But you can't leave." She's like, "I'm leaving." I'm like, "Great. Okay." So I got on the freeway, and I went all the way back to the city of Santa Ana, and I picked her ass up, and she's like dragging all her bags out, and she's like, "Let me drive," and she's taking me, and this is her city, not mine. You know what I mean? I'm from Southeast. This is her town, Santa Ana. That's her city. She used to run around over there by Alley Boys and all that over there in Santa Anita. That was her stomping ground. So we're driving around in these neighborhoods trying to find her connect so she can get high now. And then what we do, we get a motel room. In the motel room, we both proceed to continue the relapse mode, and I'm the reason for her relapse. Toxic relationship right there. It didn't end well. We used to fight. We used to get into it. I mean, we had some straight fist fights. Me and this girl. I didn't trust her after a while, and I was still living in a sober living, but she was just running around from spot to spot. I didn't know what she was into, what she was doing, or who she was doing it with. But the further along that we went into this relationship, the further we were bringing each other down. We were poison to each other. We had both just pretty much caught in a violation. I ended up, the parole officer came over to my house and was on that SSU parole shit, high control. They showed up at my house and piss tested me. I mean, and this guy would stick his head like practically right at your dick. So he knew if you had a Whizzinator on or not. So I just went to go piss, and I told him, "Man, I'm dirty. I'm just going to tell you I'm dirty right now." He's like, "All right. Well, I'm not going to take you in right now, but I want you to report tomorrow." I said, "Fuck that, man. You let me go, I'm gone." So I took off. Now, man, me and her on the streets, on the run. She's absconding, I'm absconding. We're just poisoning each other. We're getting into all kinds of trouble. So I had basically pumped the brakes and decided I was going to go to Texas. That's where my mom was living after my father died. So I got on a bus, and I went to Texas, and I ended up getting busted out there for absconding and brought back. But she was already involved in some other relationship, got herself involved in some kind of a high-profile case, and she was gone, man. She was out of the country. There's one example. Another example is I met this chick that I was working with. This was like a couple years later. We were working together at this place called Bakery Express. I ended up moving her in. Big mistake. Big mistake, man. I moved her ass in. And it didn't matter, like, what was happening. I couldn't leave. She was trying to lock me down to where I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. Nothing. And she was always talking shit. And finally, when I told her it was over with, the relationship's over, she said, "Oh, yeah, motherfucker," starts punching herself in the face. Bing, 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 bing. Like straight uppercutting herself in the face. Her lips split. I'm like grabbing her hand, like, "What are you doing?" Straight calls 911. And this parolee is assaulting me. All bad. Gone. I loaded up what I could, stuffed a whole bunch of shit into a duffel bag, and I jumped out the window, got in my car, I took off. They ended up not pressing charges or anything like that, but I ain't trying to have no kind of spousal on me. So I'm gone, driving around, relapsing, running amok with the homies, outside of a 50-mile radius, all that shit. Bam. End up going back. But, those are just a couple of my examples. But I don't know how many examples I can give you over and over and over again of dudes that are getting out of the joint, trying to lock in some chick, find out that they don't click, they don't gel. Dude starts running around, and the next thing you know, she's calling the parole office on him. It happens all the time. So my suggestion to a lot of these people is do what I did. You know what I mean? Don't worry about getting involved in a relationship or something. If it's sex that you're after or something like that, go get your money. But just make it known that whoever you're hitting or you're tapping, make it known that this is all it is. This is all physical. I don't want no feelings involved, and please don't get your feelings involved because it may backfire on you. You may be the one that gets whipped, not her. But if you're an older cat and you got your shit together and you found a good one and you guys gel real well and you think that it's going to work out, then go for it and give it a shot. But just understand that it's rolling the dice, man. It's a huge gamble. So I always tell these guys, if you're a young cat, you're 35 and younger or whatever, you get involved in a relationship or something straight out of prison, it's just a matter of time. If you already got a baby mama and all that stuff waiting on you and she's held it down and remained faithful this whole time, then I would suggest you get into some kind of a parenting class, couples therapy, do whatever, because your mind is still institutionalized for several months after you get out. That's why so many people relapse, so many people fall back into that recidivism trap because they think they got it all figured out, but one day that just snaps. And they get scared and everything, the whole world comes falling down on top of them, man. It's just the way it is. It's like you're withdrawn from dope. You're withdrawn from that structured living. It becomes comfortable. You get scared. You got this woman in your face every single day or this man in your face with some of you ladies out there. Just take it slow. Take it slow, man. And if you don't have a relationship on the table when you're getting ready to get out, I always tell people, leave the pen pals alone, man. If you're going to have a pen pal, somebody to get past you through the time or whatever, maybe somebody send you a couple of packages or whatever, I get it. But if you're getting out there and you're going to be paroling to her house or you're releasing to her house, you are setting yourself up for failure. You may get out and realize that this woman's not for you. She may realize that you're not for her. And she wants you gone. Or you want to get away from her. You know you can't go anywhere, so you're trying to slip out, sneak out, kick it with your boys, run around town. That ain't going to happen. It's only a matter of time before she dials that parole officer's number and gets your ass back in there. Like I said, guys, I've seen this a million times. The best thing to do is to just stay straight, relationship-free for as long as if you've got like 3 years probation, 3 years parole, 5 years parole, whatever, just ride the storm. I mean, if you find the right one, if you find a good one and you know she's good, take the time to get to know her first. Hang out with her a little while. Don't even have sex with this person. Deal with them as if they're a friend for a period of time that you could figure out if this is what you really want. Because you got to understand something. Your freedom can be taken away from you by just one phone call from one of these people that you're in a relationship with, and then that's it. And it's not what it is, it's what it looks like. You're going back. You may even get a spousal thrown on you. Anything, child endangerment, all that shit. The thing that I do and the thing that I've done and the practice that I have is that on any kind of probation or parole, the whole time I'm not getting involved in a relationship until I have that paperwork from the judge that says I'm discharged. Now, if the woman is like somebody we click and we get along and we're cool on every level, okay, I'll give it a shot. But other than that, my best advice to you would be to just kick back, work on yourself. If you want to work on some kind of relationships, if you want to build some kind of relationship, rebuild the relationships you destroyed with your family, your friends, your siblings, whatnot. Fix all that first. Fix yourself first. Focus on you first. You can't have a positive or a good, healthy relationship with somebody when your mind ain't totally 100. Take my advice, man. It's working for me just fine. Saving me a whole lot of misery, a whole lot of headache. And I know that I can look towards having a more productive, healthier relationship when I don't have all these factors in place. Like still building my life, still putting myself back together, still building a strong financial background, strong financial foundation to sit on. All these things, man. It's all about you first and foremost, and all that other shit, deal with it later. That's the greatest advice I can give to you, and you know what that is. Prison Break Raw, uncut, uncensored, no holds barred, non-sugarcoated, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality, and I'm out.